So recently I've been doing a lot of life skilling, mainly gathering, and there's a lot of things that I learned and a lot of things I'm still learning. But in this video, I want to share the things that I learned. Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about what I wish I knew before I started gathering so that you guys don't make the same mistakes as I did. So the first thing you want to do is press P to open up your stats window. So over here you're going to see that you're probably going to start at the battle stats over here, and then it's going to tell you your breath, your strength, your health, all that jazz. But what you want to look at is over here at the life info. And when you click life info at the bottom, there's going to be learn more. You want to click on that. And once you click on learn more, you're going to realize that gathering actually includes a lot of stuff. It's not just one gathering stat. Gathering includes lumbering, fluid collecting, hoe collecting, butchering, tanning, mining, and water scooping. So there's a whole bunch of different numbers over here. And when you hover your mouse over a certain skill, so in my case, I've been doing a lot of butchering. So you can see when I hover over butchering, it tells me increase acquisition rate by 80%, increase acquisition quantity by 138.7%, and then blah, 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 blah. It says all this jazz, right? But it doesn't really explain what exactly those stats do for you. Like, it does have the asterisk at the bottom, which tells you basic resources is meat. Special resources like the well-polished soul, deep blue, hoff root, fairy powder, and rare resources is enhancement materials. But it doesn't really explain very well what all these percentages mean. So this is where we're going to jump over to the website, which is in the description below if you want to open it up yourself. And here's the website. It is grumpygreen.cricket. So this is just the highlights, but we're going to scroll down right here, which is the gathering mastery buff chart. So what basic resources are the white graded resources such as timber, sap, ore, blood, meat, etc. right? Special resources are like the layla petals, the deep blue hoff roots, and stuff like that. Rare resources would be the ancient spirit dust and the black gem fragments, and this was not included in the game, which is the very rare resources, which are Kaffir stones, hard, and sharps. And then right here is a very nice table that breaks everything down in a very easy to understand manner. All you need to do is look at what mastery level you are, and then you're going to see the percentage chances of getting all of these items. So for me, I'm at 950. Remember, the mastery level goes up by increments of 50. So we can see here that my mastery is right here at 950. And there's a breakdown right here basically telling you the percentage of you to get a certain item. And it says right here that the chances of me getting either a hard, a sharp, or a Kaffir stone is 46.25%, which is pretty high, and this is very, very nice for me. Small update here as I've learned something new again, and that is even though over here it says that my chance to get very rare items is 46.25%, it simply means that the base drop rate for the sharp, the hard, and the Kaffir stones are increased by 46.25%. So if we look over here, this is a very old screenshot, so I don't know if the drop rates are still the same. But if we can see over here, the drop rate for sharp shards from wolves, giant elks, giant wolf, emperor elephant is 0.3%. And everything else has a 0.11%, and this is for the sharps. And for the hards, it's 0.4%, and everything else has a 0.24%. So if we look at this 46.25%, it's simply increasing the base value, which for me as I'm killing sheeps is 0.24%. So just increasing the 0.24% by 46%, which is like a 1% chance or something ridiculously low. I can't do math, but you get the idea. So hopefully this clears things up on the chart, because I know a lot of you, myself included, thought that I had a 46.25% of getting a sharp, a hard, or Kaffir stone on each gather. And I found it very, very strange on why I wasn't getting that many Kaffir stones, that many shards, that many hards, until later on I got informed through a friend, and they gave me this screenshot, and this explains a lot more. So anyway, back to the video. However, in order to get to 950 mastery, you will need some gear. So let's jump back into the game. So you're going to notice that my other stats are 650 mastery, but my gathering stat is only 200. And so why is that? It's simply because of my gear. So look, if I take off my gear, you're going to notice that my stats are going down. I took off my Logia's gather clothes, which gives me 200 on all gathering masteries. And you saw all of my stats plummet. Look, I'll take off my Manos butcher knife. Boom, this also goes down to 453 now. And then let's take off my accessories. Boom, now it's 300 something, take off these accessories. And when I take off everything, you're gonna notice that, hey, my mastery stat is 220, but why am I still at 245 on all of these other stats? And that is simply because I have a seafood cron meal, which is a food which gives me a buff, which gives me plus 25 on all life skill masteries. So that is why my stats is a little bit higher than the total mastery. So just basing off your level, like if you're professional, you're skilled, you're a beginner, you're artisanal, it doesn't matter, that will increase your mastery stat over here, which will increase all of your gathering stats over here. So that'll include lumbering, food collecting, hoe collecting, butchering, tanning, mining, and water scooping. And the best way to increase these stats very, very quickly is through gear. However, gear will get expensive very, very quickly. So you can see here, once I put on my Tet Logia's Gather clothes, all of my masteries are going to go up by 200 because that is the set effect. Boom, you see, all of my stats went up by 200. And then look, I have the Logia rings, which will also boost my stats, all of my life masteries by 32. Boom, it went up. Put on my second ring, put on my earring, which is another 32, another 32, and then my belt, which gives 40, and then my necklace, which gives another 40. And you can see that I'm at 653. Finally, I will also put on my Manos Butcher Knife, which gives me 300 mastery, and bam, that pushed me to the 950 bracket. And then I could just put on all my other weapons and stuff. And so if you want to boost yourself into those higher brackets to get the higher percentages, to get the very rare items, those enhanced materials, you will need a little bit of gear. But don't worry, you can get Logia's gear, the regular base Logia gear, in Logia's farm for 1 million each. So basically what you're going to do, if you're brand new and you have no gear and you just want to start life skilling immediately, is you can go to Logia Farm over here, and there's an NPC right here called Camellia Logia. You're going to talk to her and she's going to sell you all of the gear that I have, except it's going to be the base versions. They're not upgraded. The Logia's Gather clothes that you buy from her will not give you 200 gathering mastery. This is because mine is upgraded to a Tet version, which you can buy on the marketplace. However, it does cost 407 million silver. So it is quite expensive. And the same as my accessories, that's 250 million. My earring is 250 million. My necklace is 210 million. And my belt is another 220 million. So like adding all of that together is quite a substantial amount of money. And then of course we've got my Manos Butcher Knife, which is currently 2.9 billion, which is a lot of money. So if you are planning to go all out on life skilling, you will need to have saved some money. You don't need to get your stat boosted this high. When I first started out gathering, I just wore the base Logia clothes. All of my clothes were just rank 1, like they were not enhanced at all. And I had maybe like 400, 500 mastery, and it was good enough for me at the beginning. And basically what I did was I just tried to level up my gathering. I got my gathering to Artisan 4, and then slowly but surely I was making some money, and then eventually I was able to afford everything. I did not do all of this overnight, especially the Butcher Knife. The Butcher Knife took me a very long time to get. It took me about 2 weeks before I could buy a Tet Manos Butcher Knife, and this was with a lot of life skilling as well as a lot of grinding, and I just mixed it up with different revenue sources in order to afford all of this gear. But now that I do have all of this gear, now it's time to reap the benefits. So there is another reason why you want to boost your gathering stat as high as possible, and that is because if you hover over whatever skill you're doing, so in my case is butchering, you'll see underneath there's an increased extra acquisition rate plus 30%. So what this means is there's a 30% chance of when you're gathering meat that it does not consume energy. So you can see here that I have 201 energy, and I regen 1 energy every 3 minutes. But because I have the Camel Sylvia buff over here, I get energy recovery plus 2. So basically I get 1 energy every 3 minutes. So over here, we're just going to go gather, and I'm going to show you a couple tips that I learned while gathering. One is if you're gathering on the shy, there's this skill right here called Gather Around. So when you press K, it'll be right here, Gather Around, right at the bottom right corner. You don't need to scroll down. Make sure to pick up this skill because it makes your life so easy to gather materials. So we're going to see over here that I'm just going to walk into them and I'm going to press 3, and it's going to suck all of these guys towards me like this. Whoop. And you see, now I don't need to move as far. So I could just press R and then walk towards the corpses if I wanted to, but I don't want to do that because I'm awfully lazy. So I press Control to bring up my mouse, and I can just click on the corpse. So the little trick over here that I realized was you don't aim at the center of their body, you aim at their feet. So you see right there, once we killed them, like when you unlock your mouse, you don't aim at the center of their body. You kind of aim like up here, like where their feet is, and that will always target them. So like, see, if I have my mouse on top of him, like it won't be targeted, but if I aim down at their feet, it'll target it. And that's the little trick that I found for sheep. It might be different on depending on animal, but for me, this works very well. And that way I'm able to just stand still as well as collect all of the materials. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, because I used to gather by just running to the bodies, but the problem would be sometimes if I had a corpse near like a bush, I would start collecting the bush instead of the actual meat, which would waste energy. So let's say over here. So let's say that I'm right here, right? And then I use my suction ability, suck all the corpses close by, and like if I were to run into the body to press R, there's a chance that I'll actually click on this thicket instead of gathering the sheep's meat. I might actually start gathering the flowers by accident. So what I like to do is I press Control and I just click on the sheep's feet and make sure that it highlights and it says that I'm collecting the lamb. So you can see now that when I try to gather meat, it says gathering tool durability is too low. And that is because my Manos butcher knife is now broken. Every time I gather one piece of meat, it lowers the durability by a little bit. And you can see that it is absolutely broken. So it cannot be used to gather any more meat, and I need to repair it. And this is where tents come in. So I'm very lucky, and I'm relatively close to a town, so I can just ride down to Heidel and just repair and then come back. However, there are some gathering spots such as lions, snakes, and scorpions, which are a little bit out of the way. So what you can do is have a tent. So right here you see that I have a camping tool and I can install a tent, and boom! This campsite pops out of nowhere. And this tent will allow you to repair weapons if you have an anvil installed onto it. However, you can also buy a tent in the cash shop. So the nice thing about this campsite is everything in the campsite is permanent. So if you're using the free-to-play campsite like I am, you'll notice that these anvils will expire. You can buy Old Moon camping anvils from the marketplace, or you can try to craft them yourself. It is very expensive to craft it yourself because you do need a lot of materials, mainly because you need pearls, which require you to go out to sea and dive underwater and collect these pearls, which is quite a pain in the butt. And so most people just buy the Old Moon camping anvils off the marketplace. Honestly, I don't know the difference between the two. I've tried Googling it, but if you guys know, please let me know the difference, because I don't know the difference other than the price. Like, why is the sealed one more expensive than the packaged one? What's the difference? But you can see that there's a lot of orders that the one is stuck at 6 million and the other one is stuck at 4 million, and you'll need one of these anvils in order to install to your tent. And another thing about those anvils, the Old Moon anvils, is once you install it, it will only last for 24 hours. After 24 hours, that anvil will expire, exactly like what mine says right now. It says expires in, and then there's a little X that says expired, and I cannot use the anvil anymore. And another downside to this anvil is it costs 10 times the price to repair anything using this anvil. So when I go to town to repair my Manos butcher knife, it costs 47,000 to repair. However, when I try to repair on a campsite, it will cost me 470,000 in order to repair the Manos butcher knife, which is, it's quite expensive. So for free-to-play players, honestly, I don't recommend using the tent unless you are really out in the middle of nowhere. But for me, because I'm really close to town, it makes no sense for me to actually use my tent and repair at 10 times the cost. So what I will do is I will simply switch to my rider's clothes, my riding crop, and I will just ride back to town, repair my Manos butcher knife, and come back. So while we're riding back, let's talk about all the different loot that we get. So for the fairy dust over here, we're just going to sell the fairy powder. For the well-polished souls, we're also going to sell this. Remember, some items you cannot sell to vendors, such as this well-polished soul. You have to sell it through the trading post. So just keep that in mind. The meat we're going to be keeping because I do cooking, so I'm gathering the meat for cooking. Keep these ancient spirit dust. You're going to need these. These can be made into Kaphra stones. A lot of the items in the game actually tell you how to use them. And so a lot of people don't really read the descriptions and just sell it immediately, which is a shame because you can make a lot more money if you just read the description. So for this, the ancient spirit dust, it says right here in usage, use simple alchemy in the processing window, which is L, to combine 5 ancient spirit dust and a blackstone weapon or a blackstone armor, and it'll make 1 Caphras stone. And at the bottom it says if you want to make more Caphras stones, you can use 50 spirit dust, you can use blackstone armor or weapon times 10, and 1 blackstone powder in order to make 10 Caphras stones, so it just accelerates the process. As for the hard black crystal shards, these are used for the armors, and then I haven't gotten a sharp yet, but sharps are going to be used for weapons. So now that we're here, let us repair. We're going to repair inventory. You can see here it costs 44,000 because I'm repairing other things like my fishing rod, which is also broken. I repair equipped as well as I repair my horse gear. I just always do that because just habit. Then I will go autopath right back to my gathering spot and press T. So for those who don't know, T is the hotkey to autopath. Like once you clicked on a waypoint, you'll see on your minimap that there is a little line, and when you press M, you'll also see that there is a autopath route. So then you just press T and then your character will automatically start running. It's very, very convenient. And then finally, you're going to get a lot of these black gem fragments. So what do you use these black gem fragments for? Again, you're going to use 1 black gem fragment, you're going to use 1 blackstone armor and 1 blackstone weapon in order to turn it into a black gem. Then when you have black gems, you're going to use 5 black gems with 1 hard black crystal shard as well as 1 sharp black crystal shard, and you're going to combine that and you will get a concentrated black gem, which is worth about 9.2 million right now. However, they normally go for 10 million. So it is a good source of money the more of these things you get, all of these enhanceable materials. So you're mainly looking for the hard black crystal shard, the sharps, black gem fragments, as well as Caphras stones. So these are the 4 enhanceable materials that you're getting from gathering, which can be converted into a lot of money. And of course, when you're gathering normally, like all of these fairy powders, they're 10,000 each. You get a lot of them. I got 54 of them already, so I can sell that. And if you don't do cooking, of course, you can sell the meat. The meat over here is 8.8 thousand. I've got 1,400, so that is also a good amount of money. And I just hit Artisan 5. Very lucky. That's very nice. So we are Artisan 5 now. So again, we can check our mastery. So you can see that my butchering is 958 now. It increased my stat by 5. And we are out of energy. So today's harvest was not exactly the best, to be perfectly honest. But it's fine because my main source of income, again, has been cooking. So we needed the lamb meat anyway. So there is a pay-to-win method in order to increase the amount of lamb meat that you get, or your basic material. And that is to get a hedgehog pet. So when you press F3 to open up the cash shop, if you go to hot and new and you go to the hot tab and scroll right down, right here, there is the event Amerigo's welcome package, which is $35, and over here gives you a hedgehog pet. The other way to get a hedgehog pet is if you gift a copy of Black Desert Online to a friend, so that'll only cost you $10, and you're able to redeem a hedgehog pet that way as well. But basically what the hedgehog pet does is it increases the gathering quantity that you get. So when you gather meat from a sheep, for example, over here, when I'm gathering, you're gonna notice that I get 6 meat right here. There's a chance of it giving you another stack of 6 meat, and it has its own RNG thing, so you could gather like 6 meat from this lamb, but maybe because of the hedgehog proc you get 12 meat from something else. So that's very, very nice having that ability to just farm stuff faster, basically, because you're using the same amount of energy but you're potentially getting double the amount of meat, which is very, very time efficient and very good. But it is a cash item, so I personally don't have that, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world if you don't have one of those. It just simply means that you're not going to be gathering meat as fast as other people who are using money. But in my case, I don't really care that much, so I don't need the hedgehog and I'm not going to spend money on it. But yeah, this pretty much concludes what I've learned from gathering so far. Do let me know in the comment section below if I've totally missed something that's really, really important, or maybe there's something that I should be doing instead, stuff like that. You know, more than happy to get more feedback from you guys, because I still need to learn a ton of stuff in this game, but it's fun. I'm really having a blast playing this game. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals that boosts the rest?